money soldier. I thought I told you. Only rockin' with the agent and the broker, yeah. Move over, we getting bolder. Making moves like the agent and the broker, yeah. Generational wealth, they bout that. Yeah, we took some L's, but we bounced back. Financial literacy, got that. Closing up the wealth gap, yeah, I'm black. Welcome to the Agent and Broker Podcast, hosted by Julian and James. And you know they bringing nothing but that black boss talk, man. Cause there's no currency stronger than the black dollar. And it's time we let the world know. But first we gotta grow though, and that's for sure.
What's up? What's going on?
What it do? What's going on, everybody?
What it is? Family, friends, everybody. How you doing, James? What's going on?
Man, I'm blessed, highly favored, man. How you doing? How's everything? How was your weekend, bro?
Man, it was great. Everything is good so far. Getting off to a good start this week. And everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Agent and Broker Podcast. I'm your co-host, Julian, the agent, license W626089 down in Eatonville, Florida.
And I'm James, license number W2822336. And where am I? Not in Orlando. My office is in Orlando. In Haines City, Florida.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep, we added another week, man, like you said. Just coming off of a weekend, started in a Monday today, man. It's it's gonna be a good week, I believe. Honestly, I think it'll be a productive week. We still at the beginning of a new month. Got a new book on the line. Just some new opportunities. Ways to help people get insured, especially going into the holiday season.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And especially with the subject we're going to be talking about, I think that's kind of like relates. Not kind of, is definitely relate. But I'm pretty excited for this week, man. Pretty excited for this week. I had a good weekend with the family. As a matter of fact, I work from home today. We're supposed to go to the office. And I said, you know what? Our office manager was in the office doing her thing. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be working from home today. I still managed to actually did one... at least on the health side, I still managed to do one Obamacare while I was
that's good
at home.
Right there.
Yeah, plus I have another one coming up tomorrow as well at 10.
Yes, sir.
We
just
got doing our thing, man.
One recruit in today got licensed, so we got some movement, some traction, and it's gonna be good, man. He's a mortgage broker too, so
oh yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be a good one, especially when he have clients. He about to close on houses and stuff, so it's pretty dope.
Yeah, very dope. It's a great license to have with it.
Oh yeah, but before we jump into everything, I know right now it's a lot of, I guess the news in our community is everywhere right now. With sports, Deion Sanders leaving HBCUs, a lot of people conflicted into that. That's the big talk right now. What's going on? But we won't live this time for that. That's just more outside talk and all of this stuff and what's going on in the world. But definitely, congrats to him, what he's doing. And it, as an HBCU alum, it kind of had me feeling a type of way. But at the end of the day, that's growth for him. I know what it's like to be at a HBCU. You don't have the resources. You don't have these things. It was just the issue with him is that, Deion Sanders is a high caliber, and he was talking a really good game about, changing the culture and everything, but and just having athletes looking at, HBCUs as an opportunity and options now. But the thing is, a lot of people was upset that he got up and left, but he paved the blueprint, I believe. So it's like, okay, we can't expect him to just do everything and stay there and be 100% committed to that when he didn't even attend one of those institutions. So it doesn't, I had to, be accountable for how I felt and all of that before I even cast any type of judgment or spoke about my thoughts. And I'm learning that a lot more, man. As I'm going through a lot of stuff, just working in the community, just being active, and just doing good work out here, bro. It's just more so, how can I hold my tongue? Because I used to just fire off like with a straight up assumption. You don't even know if it's true. It's just how you feel and all of that. So, it's, I think more so for me is just a way to hold myself accountable too, and how we moving forward, especially with HBCUs, and eventually we can get out there with the finance stuff and help our community out there, man, because it's needed.
Definitely, man. Definitely. What you just said, man, is big proof that there's growth on your side. Instead of reacting to certain things, you have that growth where you're like, you know what, you analyzing the matter before you jump in and have an opinion and kind of like weigh both sides. This is part of wisdom. So
Mm,
that's
absolutely.
yeah, that's you acquiring the knowledge throughout the years, and you're not gonna let your emotion get the best of you. You're gonna rationalize the situation,
Yeah.
analyze it, and then you can come up with an opinion that is firm and that is your opinion. So
Right. Right.
you hope you mentioned that, man.
Absolutely. But yeah, tonight, y'all, we will be covering a really good, dope topic. Something that just came out about a week ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some studies just came out about life insurance payouts. So CNN Business just dropped the article saying there was a record of $100 billion that was paid out in life insurance benefits last year. So I know we kicked this off in 2022, but now the results from 2021 are coming out. More people, and we're seeing a lot of people have died in the last like year or two, and a lot of that came from COVID-19. We know COVID related deaths and everything, but life insurance reserves or life insurance benefits are paying out, which, there's a lot of thoughts we're going to talk about tonight, a lot of different things we can cover, but that's big, especially for what we do in the mission that we have right now. You know what I mean, James?
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you look at the numbers, it should really influence, encourage somebody to actually take more coverage. I would make the assumption, if you're listening to this, you already have something, but these numbers make sense. So you could be influenced to have more coverage, because $100 billion of life insurance death benefits was paid out in 12 months, in a year.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So, and especially in our community, and of course, this podcast, one of the main reason we do it is to bring awareness to our community, to bring the trust between life insurance, and the people. That's why we do it. So when you see these numbers, $100 billion of death benefits was paid. Yeah, we understand COVID had a big impact on that, but in the same token, it's like, yo, these policies are being paid out by the insurance companies. So it's definitely an eye opener for everybody to actually get coverage, or get more coverage if they already have some. So it's a really important subject that we're talking about tonight, for sure, bro.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna share the article here on the screen. So it says a record $100 billion was paid out in life insurance benefits last year. As you see, this was when November 28th. So we're looking at the end of November. First sentence says U.S. life insurers paid out a record $100 billion in benefits in 2021, according to new data released Monday by American Council of Life Insurers. So that's nearly 11% jump from 2020, which represented the largest year-over-year increase, which was 15.4% since 1918, the flu pandemic, y'all. Look at this. Like COVID-19, I don't think people understand, we're in a shift right now. We're in a shift with society and the world in general. Like, these people had this COVID stuff going on and literally was killing people off while they're doing it. The good thing is, even though that's a sad situation, people are dying, bro. Like, families are going through, financial struggles and things of the such, because people are dying. They're going through emotional struggles. But for, life, and the good thing here, I guess, it's a touchy subject because it can go both
It
ways. The
is.
good
It
thing
is.
is that people were insured, and there's other stuff I like to know, like, okay, how many people were insured, how many people weren't insured, especially in our communities, how
Mm-hmm.
many people did get affected by death during these last 2 years, 2 to 3 years, and how many of them were in our community that didn't have coverage, or did they not have enough coverage, where people had coverage but it wasn't enough to cover the mortgage, and then that house went into foreclosure. There are people like that out there, and that was something, that a thought that went through my head, like, yo, $100 billion is a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
We're
for
talking
sure.
about, that's a lot of money, and for insurance companies to pay out $100 billion in a year, bro, how much money are they making? You know what I mean?
A whole lot.
In 1 year, they're able to pay out $100 billion in benefits. So you gotta really think as well. Like, okay, why am I not putting money in life insurance if they're paying out $100 billion? Like, banks aren't even doing that.
Nah, nah. So
People
20.
have Roth, people have all of these things, but
Mm-hmm.
insurance policies are paying out. Bank,
They're paying out, man. They're paying out. So, like you say, it's a touchy subject. It's kind of like, how do you look at this and it's been a good thing?
right?
It's like there's a celebration, and the same token there's a this bittersweet in between.
Right.
So, and that's a good point. It's like, man, pay 100 billion, but I wonder how many people was not insured. Maybe if every single
Mm,
person who passed away last year was insured, maybe it could be 300 billion.
right,
So you
right.
never know, or 200, whatever the number may be. But in that same article, um, there was actually 46 million policies, bro, that was written. 46 million policies was written in 2020. I mean, was it in 2021? Yeah, in 2021. That's a 6% increase from 2020. I think we have this. I don't know if you have that in the next slide, but I was actually reading it from my other screen.
What was
But
that?
it's pretty
Right
interesting that
here.
you could see that. You see it? Okay, there you
46 million. So 46 million policies sold. Whoa.
go. Yes,
Bro,
sir. 46 million.
that's crazy. Like, out of that 46 million, I wonder how many people actually, I wonder if they died in that first year. Like, if they got a policy, like, how many of those didn't pay out?
That's
Like,
true.
there's so many things, to factor in, because, what if they didn't pass that? What if there was a guaranteed death benefit? You know what I mean? Like, on the final
Hmm.
expense policy, somebody got a guaranteed policy and they didn't make it through that 2 year period, bro. Like,
Yes,
like,
definitely. There's a couple in
yeah,
there as
there's,
well.
out of those 46 million, there has to be like another, like, I don't know, bro, maybe $50 million in that that didn't pay out,
Yeah,
because who knows
probably.
how many people had guaranteed issued policies.
That's true. And especially the whole concept with a lot of people is that, man, I need to get old so I can get life insurance. I'm not getting it when I'm young.
Hmm.
So the what Julian is talking about is, sometimes when you get older, you get a policy, and that policy, let's just say you already have some complication health wise. Well, guess what? You're gonna get a policy that is going to be fully in effect after 2 years. So within that 2 years, if you pass away, the company will just return whatever premium you paid. So it's always good to get a life insurance policy while you are young, for two things: is you very
Hmm.
healthy, that's one, and two, the premium will be much cheaper. Yeah.
That's
you
simple.
know so it makes sense. But that's a great point of view, though, because you never know, man. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of interesting cases, that happen from those 46 millions.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of but one thing do I feel happy about is that from that 46 million, Julian, we got a few, us, me and you, we got a few, and the team, of course, we have a few policies that contribute to that 46 million, you know.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure,
this
for
is
sure.
this is this is something to definitely be proud of as you know, as an organization for sure.
Absolutely. And you know, when we do presentations and we have the chart up there, you know, 200 million Americans need help, right?
Yeah.
So we making the progress, 46 million. You know what I'm saying? Like we touching that.
We're definitely touching that for sure, bro. But
Like we
the thing is, a lot of baby are being born as well, so we still kind
right.
of like balance it out.
We got a lot we got a lot coming up, man. It's a lot coming up. But the good thing now, though, I think, well, more people are getting educated. More of our
Yes,
people are getting educated for sure when it comes to life insurance. Like, okay, yeah, I can put life insurance on my child. Why not? You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like, I can utilize this as a savings tool. Now, instead of waiting until you're 60 years old to get a final expense at $50, put $50 on a child. And when they get that age, they already have well over, $500,000. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep,
by the time they're
exactly.
65 or 60, 65, an extra 500K just from saving $50 a month. That's just hypothetical, but something around like 100 to $150 a month, your kid will be straight because you have those first 18 to 20 years that most adults don't have when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
investing or saving. So it's about, being wise enough to be like, okay, well, grandma, granddaddy had, a policy, or she couldn't get insured or whatever. So, or you went through the guarantee issue with one of them and they weren't able to get insured and they passed away during that time. But this
Mm-hmm.
is now like a eye opener for a lot of people. Like, okay, well, if I can get that on my child now, why not? Let's do it.
Exactly. And I mean, it's dirt cheap. Like it's dirt cheap to put a policy on a child. And remember, we was having a conversation with this young lady not too long ago, and when a family member approached her and said, "Hey, you know, let's get a life insurance policy on your newborn," and she took it as that, you know, she was offended. Like, why would you say something like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So after Julian and I, we spoke with her to show her, hey, it's all about perspective, and this is the value behind it. Now she's really changing, you know, her way of thinking. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of work being done for life insurance, and the numbers don't lie. And the same token, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done by agents and brokers to
Mm-hmm.
actually educate people out there. Because think about it,
Absolutely.
the most recent child, not even a child, I think he was probably 9, 10 years old, that the parent purchased life insurance and they get life insurance for him as well. He was paying what? I think like $26. No, $21 for $50,000 in a policy. And I think he was like 11 10 11 years. I don't remember. But
Mm-hmm.
you look at this, let's just say $100,000. We'll get to get him $100,000. $100,000 like 30 something dollars, you know. And
Yeah.
when this and it's a whole life policy too. So
Right.
when this kid turned 18, you give him $30 to pay on his own policy, and that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be for the rest of his life. So you know, eventually, what's $30 when you turn 60, 65? It's no money compared to like two, three, $400 you could potentially have to pay every
Right.
month, you know, once you get to that age. So I
Exactly.
highly recommend parents, you know, it's not gonna break their bank, you know, get something for small for the kid, like $20 or less, maybe
Yeah.
$10. Get them something. But of course, if you want something more advanced, where you potentially want a tool to use for college for them, where they can start receiving distribution when they go to college and whatnot, it gets a little bit more complex. Now you can actually consider IUL and
Right.
structure it
Right.
the right way. But you know, other than that, a child policy is dirt cheap. And when they turn 18, they get the first job or they open their own business, transfer that policy in their name and have them pay that $15 a month, whatever it is.
Mhm.
That's a beautiful gift for your child,
100%.
for sure.
There's a lot of different options, man.
Hmm.
Like you said, you have the children's whole life. You know, you can go college savings, IUL. You can go that vehicle. So, man, literally, insurance is like the one all be all industry. Like you can go so many ways in it. It's a wealth transfer, and people don't understand. We don't understand. I want to go say people. A lot of people don't, honestly, because it's not just black people. It's not just it's not just us, bro. Like I've called people multiple times and they don't care to leave anybody anything behind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not leaving that person. I'm not leaving them anything. I'm not leaving them shit. Like this is how people talk on the phone. Like I've I've had multiple people just like, oh, just enough money to put me in the ground and that's it. I'm not leaving them anything.
It's crazy. And I've
Like people out here with that mentality, and it's not just our community, it's just people in general, man. Like
mm-hmm.
a lot of people been hurt and they just never got over their hurt, so they don't care to leave their family stuff.
Yeah, I've had quite a few of this conversation over the years as well. It's kind of unfortunate to hear people talking about that. But one thing, as you're speaking on this, one thing I can think of, maybe if they have a little bit of more education when it comes to a trust, to actually get a trust to be the beneficiary and assign someone to actually take care of that trust. Maybe they have a greater cause to maybe a nonprofit or maybe the church or maybe whatever organization they want to make a difference. Maybe they would more likely to leave something behind for that than
Mm,
to leave something for family. Maybe they don't like their family. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a touch. I spoke with one
it's
of my
real.
clients. They were so they had such a special connection with the boys and girls club. Apparently when they were little, it was a big impact to him. And so that's an education he was actually very happy to hear about, because he want to leave something behind that he can
Hmm.
actually put an organization as a beneficiary.
Right.
So people, throughout their life, there are organizations that make a great impact on their life. So maybe
Yeah.
they want to leave the death benefits proceed to that organization, which is very
Uh,
doable.
yeah. And I've seen that too. And when you do the beneficiary, you can leave it to a business, right?
Hmm.
So you leave it to a nonprofit. Some people do churches, like you said, an organization. So that is it's cool. Like the life insurance policy has like a built-in trust inside of it, right?
Yep.
Pretty much. So it's dope. A built-in will of trust, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, man. I honestly think that having those policies when you're young is important. But if we
Definitely.
get back to this, another thing that it covered was um I think I saw, where did I read? I wanted to cover. So the ACLI data doesn't break out the causes of death of life insurance policyholders. Now look at this. They don't tell you the cause of the death, but the record increase in payouts may be partly due to COVID-19, which was associated with 460 and 513,000 deaths in the US in 2021.
Hmm.
So this is the third leading cause of death in the United States last year, COVID-19. So a lot of those deaths came from COVID, man. And what that was a year, like 2020, 2021 was quite eventful when it came to the COVID-19 pandemic and people passing away, bro. Man, it was like people passing away like flies, like dropping
Yep.
like flies for real. Like
Yep.
every time I got on social media, I felt like somebody was gone. And I'm like,
Hmm.
dang, what's going on?
It's true.
And so much happened in a short amount of time, like it was so quick that I don't even think we're even in the aftermath yet. We're not even seeing it yet. We're not
Nah,
seeing the worst of the worst yet,
I don't think so.
because when things happen like that, things get traumatizing, and you don't sometimes people don't feel those effects till later years down the line. It's just like mental health, same thing, in or psychology or psychiatry, whatever you want to call it. In your head, when something happens to you when you're younger, you don't realize, if it traumatizes you, you don't realize how it affects you later down the line, either in your relationships or
Hmm.
in different things in life. And I think that's going to happen with the COVID issue and the COVID-19 pandemic. From when people was getting all this money, bro, I literally think in 2 to 3 more years, 4 more years, people really gonna start feeling it because of the shift that's happening. The skill sets that people are working these little jobs, they're gonna be irrelevant, and they're
Hmm.
moving towards that quickly. So if you aren't adjusting your skills with the times and where we're going, you will be left behind, and people it's gonna be poor or rich, bro. Like
It's
no in
true.
between. Like people have to prepare themselves to what's really about to come. And they already saying that many people died last year. How many died in 2022? We won't know till like the end of next year. So it's like it may be up more. So we don't know.
Probably, like a lot of people are still dying. It's just since it's not new, it's not really been reported. But there's a lot of people still dying, and you know, it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. Right now, we're living in a very unique part of history. As young men and everybody who's currently living right now, it's a very very unique part in history that's gonna be in the history book. So
Hmm.
when you're 50 years old, 60 years old, your grandchildren are gonna be asking you about the pandemic that happened in 2020.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the like you said, man, the after effect we haven't really see. Like, I mean, hey, listen, everything is a conspiracy until it happens. But all I'm saying is to back what you said up, I've seen a lot of conversation about we will see the true effect within a few more years, maybe 2, 3 years. That's when you're gonna see the true effect of COVID.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like scary, honestly, kind of like very, very scary to hear what can potentially happen within the next few years with the effect of COVID.
Hmm.
And also, even I mean, that was in CNN actually. I was surprised seeing that clip saying a lot of people who actually take the COVID shot is actually more people is actually dying than those who
Right.
didn't
With
take
the
it.
shot. Crazy,
So
bro.
it's crazy. It's
And they were
crazy.
forcing people, like forcing. They
Yeah.
were like forcing people, indirectly forcing people to get the shot. Like people were bullying you. Like some families, like in our community, will not let people come around them for the holidays, bro. Like I'm talking Thanksgiving, Christmas. You could not come around the family if you didn't have a COVID vaccine.
Yep.
Like these people was pushing it so hard, they wouldn't even let people come in the workplace.
Mhm.
They were forcing people out of employment just to not get this vaccine, and all to find out that the vaccine didn't work. Like, bro, but the fact
Listen,
that so
man.
many people were willing and preaching it, bro, to this day, bro, I have screenshots of prominent people who have pushed that vaccine in the community, bro. Like,
Hmm. Oh yeah.
I made sure I screenshot it because you can't turn around and lie and say you didn't promote this. You
Got proof.
promoted a genocide by the government, bro. That was 460,000 people. What was it? 460,000. Let me
Yeah, I
see.
think around that is it 460.
460,000 people died due to COVID-19. Like,
And
bro, people were just falling off, man. Like, come on, man. It's
I,
crazy.
it's nuts, bro. It's nuts. I don't even want to go too far deep, but honestly, man, like back when I was really diving in to really educate myself outside of the school system, there were a lot of conspiracy I actually read about that is actually happened in the past, 3 years. That's why I say it's a conspiracy until it become true. But yeah, man, it's very unfortunate. People pushing that, and it's a whole political agenda. And I don't know if you see what's going on with Twitter. How Elon is just putting some stuff out there that
Yeah, I
was
saw.
just like it's heartbreaking, to know that people in power would go that far, you know. But it's really and I'm gonna just say this just to say this, and we can go back on subject. But it's really pushing toward the three main things that the whole world is pushing towards, which is one world government, one world religion, and one world finance. One way of one money, one religion, one God. That's what we're moving towards. And political leaders will do anything and everything to actually be the one who actually lead that, or part of the few who leads that movement.
I think they
Is
more so just care about money and lining their own
Of
pockets.
course, of
They don't
course.
even they don't even think that. They probably, I don't believe some of them don't even have the vision to even think that far in this stuff. They just
Nah,
line their own pockets
yeah,
and they just greedy
yeah.
because it's just like, oh, this is easy. This is this is comfortable and easy. I can just milk this and let them know whatever because I'm in
Yep.
a powerful position. Like they probably don't even know. They don't even think it's a world agenda or whatever it is.
Probably
They
not.
probably wouldn't even think that. They call that conspiracy theory. They just line their pockets up. But
Yep.
some of them, I believe they do know, and they are working it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like some of them, I do believe they know. There's got to be somebody pulling, directing the, what do they call it, maestro, whatever, directing the
Yeah.
orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah, back turned to the crowd, but directing the orchestra.
For sure. It's
Yeah, I
definitely,
believe
man.
it. I believe it,
It's
man.
crazy.
So the purchase of life insurance coverage in 2021 also rose with nearly 46 million policies sold. We said that a 6.1% increase over 2020. Although the total dollar coverage of those newly purchased policies dropped by 1.3% to $3.3 trillion. So coverage dropped. Are people getting more term policy now? What you think? I mean, they're
Um,
getting less term and going more towards permanent.
could be, could be. The coverage drop. It could be that, or it could be there's a lot of seniors that are getting, $20,000 face amount, $30,000 face
That
amount.
too. Yeah.
So yeah, could
Yeah,
be
that's
either, or a combination of that. Because
yeah,
if there is an increase in the percentage over 6%, but coverage decrease, so it definitely smaller policies. So they may be going with more whole lives, maybe a whole bunch of IULs as well.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
typically this is what some of our people who decide to, I guess, know it all out there. Typically, when somebody coming to get an IUL, if somebody coming to ask you about an IUL, like they want an IUL, death benefits a lot of time is not what they're thinking about.
hmm,
So when the IUL structure properly, you minimize that death benefit so you can maximize the compound interest on the cash value. So it
right,
could be a combination of all this. That's kind of like a unique number though.
yeah,
You went over 6%, um, it increased 6%, but we decrease in coverage.
right,
That's kind
right,
of, yeah, that's crazy. But I
yeah,
think what we just mentioned is probably has a lot to do with it.
yeah. Either way, it can go either way, man. Like
Mhm.
it's very interesting there. But the next sentence said the average size of a new individual policy purchased last year was
Mm,
$189,000. $189,830. So it could be, people purchasing permanent insurance or
permanent, yeah.
younger people getting it between the age, 25 or and 40 to 50. Because
Hmm.
even at 50 years old, and you pay you around 50, 55. If you're putting $150 into like an IUL, you're only gonna get about 50,000
Yeah,
to $75,000 in coverage. You're not getting a lot of coverage for $150 at that
true.
age.
True. Cost of insurance is too high, way too high at that age. At that point, you know.
I wish people would understand that, bro.
Yo,
Oh
uh,
my god, bro. I wish people can understand that. The
yeah,
cost of insurance.
it's unique, man. It's
Yeah,
crazy. It's crazy. I mean, it take people like us to educate one day at a time, and that's why I can't wait for our content to be getting out there to millions and millions of people,
yeah,
to actually
exactly.
get the education.
Hmm.
So the cost of insurance gets really high, the older you get. So, that's why, like, if you're 65 years old, 70 years old, you want $30,000. Listen, you're looking at like over $300, maybe $400 a month, depending on the situation.
Bro.
So the cost of insurance go high.
It's so funny. It's funny, but it's not because people really think they can get high amount of insurance at like 50 to 60 years old. And when you
Yeah,
tell them how much it costs, it's like, whoa, that's too much money. Like,
exactly.
how can I afford that? And I'm like, yo, you don't understand that you're high risk. Sometimes I want to be like, hey, now I want to put it in there like as if they're the insurance company and somebody in their family, if they were gonna give them $100,000 in coverage, and that person only going to pay you $30 a month, $40 a month. But if something ever happens to them, you got to pay them. You got to pay whoever. Say if they had a kid, if it was your child, you had to pay. Or if you did it for a friend, you had to pay them their kid $100,000 if they died within that time period, or if they died and you had. So their life risk was on you. If they die, you got to pay them $100,000, but you only gave them 40. They only gave you $45 a month.
It's a good way to put it,
bro. Like, it's a bad deal. Nobody would do that, but they don't think of the insurance company. Most people think, well, they have money, but it's like, as a business, having money doesn't mean anything. Like,
exactly.
you don't want to let money go, even though you have money. You just don't want to let money go like that.
Exactly.
You're not going to take the risk. It's all about risk.
Yeah, you become a risk at this point to the company. I remember, man, I got this lead from the CRM. Nice guy. Went to see him. Knock. He come open the door. Hey, how's it going? Great. I come in. Okay. Come to find out, I mean, I already knew his age. He's 66 years old. He wants $250,000. And I'm talking about like real conversation. He wants $250,000 of coverage.
Of course.
And guess what? He didn't want to spend more than $100.
Of course.
66 years old.
Of course. Happens so much.
Yo, like I just find a way to like this conversation wasn't going anywhere. Good thing he already had a little something with the military.
Yeah.
I think like maybe 30,000 or whatever he had, but he wanted to leave something behind for his wife. But you mean to tell me you don't want to spend over $100, but you want $250,000? And this is like, you know, as as weird as that sounds, this is why you have to have ethics. An agent out there would tell him, you know what? Yeah, I'll get you $250,000, and they would give him an accidental plan. Yeah, they'll give him, hey, I'll give you $300,000, and it's gonna actually cost you, you know, $48 or $50. Right. Some agent has no ethics. They would probably do that, but nah, I would rather walk out and I did all I can to educate the guy, you know. But at one point, the conversation just didn't worth it. I'm just happy he has about $30,000 at least. Yeah, you know, if something happened to him. But at that point, you're 66 years old, plus had some health complication. But yet you want $250,000 for less than $100. Like you in dreamland right now, you know. So people don't get it, man. That's the reality. The cost every year, the cost of insurance get higher. Every year that goes by. I'll even say every month, honestly, the closer you get to your birthday. But the cost of insurance get higher. So it's much better to get it while you're young.
For sure. Absolutely, 100%, man. Less risky for you, much less money as well. It's a really good story there too. So the next one, I think the next paragraph here says, when a breadwinner in a family dies, life insurance can go a long way towards alleviating any immediate financial stress their spouse and children might experience. And depending on how much insurance a policyholder buys, it can also reduce the family's future financial worries, such as how to pay for a child's education or pay off a mortgage. Like I mentioned earlier, bro, there's people out here whose parents had a policy who passed away, but it was only a $25,000 policy. It distributed over 7-8 kids, for instance. Boom. They go and spend that money on whatever. They're not thinking about the bills or that mortgage was left in their name or that mortgage was left unpaid. What happens is that mortgage falls off onto the heirs or the beneficiaries of that property. So mortgage debt is not erased. If you're watching this, mortgage debt is not erased if you pass away.
Exactly.
It's transferred down to your heirs. So if that father had, and this happens a lot just from people not even knowing, nobody ever coming to them or them just not even being in the mindset to understand what they need in place. Like, the finances, the house going in foreclosure, and then the family loses the house
Mm-hmm.
because there was not enough coverage in place. There was coverage in place to
Not
cover the
enough.
funeral, but there's a mortgage, and if you're not educating your kids about this mortgage, most of the time kids lose their house or they sell their grandparents' house or their parents' house because they're not financially taught or in a position to take on that asset or that mortgage that to that property, man. And it's a sad thing, but it happens a lot.
Yeah, it happens a whole lot, more,
Mhm.
more, more than people would ever think. And if you want to know how often it happened, talk to a probate lawyer. They'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
They'll tell you. And nobody that's actually right now that have a mortgage, especially if you have a mortgage, where you should be without life insurance, where you should be without a mortgage protection plan. Whether you get
Mhm.
a basic insurance that's going to expire after your 30 years of mortgage, at least you have something to cover the big
Right.
liability, or you take the option where you get all your money back, the cash back, option where you go 30 years, you pay the policy, and if you
Mhm.
outlive the policy, you get all your money back.
Yep.
And some homeowners, depending on the financial situation, use the IUL. They max fund it instead of paying an extra three, four, $500 a month in the mortgage. They maximize an IUL, and then they actually pull out the money at a certain year to pay the mortgage off faster. So it all depends. There's different strategies.
Mhm.
But if you're a breadwinner, especially, you need life insurance. And as a matter of fact, last night, I'm talking to my wife. She's when it comes to the kids school, she take care of everything. I thank God for my wife. And yesterday she was putting some stuff together. Was it yesterday or this morning? Either way, she was putting some stuff together for Josh, and then booking doctor's appointment. And then she was like, you know what, you would be so lost if I'm not here with those kids. I'm like, yes, I know. Thank God I have you. She's like, yes. And then we had the conversation, and I said, I remember somebody mentioned that a stay-at-home wife, or because some people would think, oh, my wife is a stay-at-home, so I don't really need coverage on her. No, you need coverage on her, because if she pass away, guess what? You don't know the kid's schedule, or you're gonna leave work to take the kids to school. Huh? You see what I'm saying? Or you're gonna leave work to take the kids to the doctor's appointment, the dentist appointment, all the checkup appointment. No, you probably won't be able to do that. So it's always good to have a life insurance on both. Everybody, whether whoever stay at home or not, you need
Yeah.
insurance on them, especially you have a mortgage, and especially that I know for sure I'll be upside down with my kids if my wife wasn't to be here. You understand? So we both know our role, we play it. But yeah,
Mhm.
we had that conversation yesterday, man, about being insured, and as the breadwinner. So it's kind of it's unique that we having this conversation as well
Right.
right now.
Right.
It's pretty,
Absolutely. It's a it's a challenge to do that, bro. Like
hmm
how you do it is you send her off for like a week or something, and you gotta take care of the kids with school. But you're gonna be like, whoa. You don't realize how much work it is until you gotta do it, and then you're
It's a
like, oh,
lot of
whoa,
work.
whoa, 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 whoa.
It's a lot of work,
You be
and
ready to throw in the towel
for
in the first minute.
for all the husband and the spouse or the boyfriend out there relationship, and my wife would attest to that. I would look at her in the eye sometimes randomly. I said, baby, thank you so much. I'm very happy in the role you play, how you helping the family. And I highlight a couple things. Sometimes the person want to hear that. And she'll do the same to me. Babe, I just want to say thank you. I'll be like, why? I just want to say thank you. Well, explain to me. And then she go in details on this stuff I do. She highlights, and sometimes I don't even notice. So I would just throw that relationship advice there, like the black doctor feel.
Yeah,
For sure, man.
absolutely. Very, very key role. So shout out to the wives out there, future wives and everything.
Yes, sir.
Yep, yep. All right, so let's got a few to wrap this up and everything. The last few paragraphs here. So the next one says many people have some life insurance coverage that their employer provides. Yeah, we did an episode on that.
Mm-hmm.
Such policies promise to pay your beneficiaries even a flat amount or a multiple of your salary upon your death. but that free coverage, while useful to have, is usually insufficient to cover your survivor's needs,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you have young kids. That's because you'll need that money to cover expenses each year until your dependents don't need support anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that one?
Man, this is heavy. Um, Typically, when we are doing a thorough analysis with somebody, you should replace or be prepared to replace 10 years of your income,
Mm-hmm.
8 to 10 years of your income. So that's why a lot of times, especially if you have a lot of responsibilities, you're married, you have children, you have a mortgage, is definitely recommend to actually get, whether it's a cashback option policy or a basic term, depending on the budget, and also with an IUL or permanent coverage. Why? Because you need to actually protect all these liabilities you have. Because if your mortgage is $500,000, you have two kids, they're still about maybe 7, 8 years old. If you pass away, your spouse have to worry about all that. Those kids still have to go to college if that's the route you wanted them to go. She have a
Mm-hmm.
mortgage by herself. It doesn't make sense. So definitely the first part of what you read, it says it is insufficient. The amount of coverage that you have at work is typically insufficient for you if you were to pass, because your family will still be struggling if that was to happen. People think they have insurance at work, like as this article mentioned, the free coverage. Yeah, you do. Congrats, but it's not enough. There's a reason it's free, because the moment you leave that job, you no longer have it either you
Yeah.
know so you got to be mindful of that, man. So my take on that is, as a father or as a mother or as anyone who's responsible for anything, which the least amount of thing you'll be responsible for is yourself, and you still need coverage. But the
Mm-hmm.
moment you exceed that, then it's definitely time to do some great financial planning to make sure that you're gonna leave your family in a very good place. Whether
Yeah.
you get sick, where you cannot work anymore because of some major disability, you need to have a policy to replace your income. Or if you pass away, well, you need you need to leave something behind for the mortgage to get paid off, and also for your spouse to be okay, and for the kids to continue to go maybe to college, like I said earlier, so the activities can actually sustain. But the moment you out the picture and you wasn't ready as a father or as a spouse or as a wife, whatever it is, you didn't fully fulfill your job, to me, at least in some component. Because
Yeah.
especially if you are that individual, you have to drink, every now and then. You're spending like $100 just on drinks, and you're spending $200 just to go out to clubs, partying, or maybe buy shoes, and you're spending that every month. But you cannot put $50, $100 aside for your life.
Priorities, man.
Yeah,
Priorities.
your priorities are not straight.
Yeah, a lot of people's aren't, adults, supposedly adults, but maybe more so hurt children in adult bodies. So
Mm-hmm. It's
it's
true.
just more learning and suffering. It sucks. I hated it. I hate that one. That's one thing. I have a heart for for the community, but at the end of the day, I understand that our community gotta suffer, bro. Like we have
Yeah.
to, and it's just like it's self-inflicted suffering
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
more so not learning from the mistakes. It's simple, bro. Like history repeats itself if you don't
Over and
learn from
over.
history. If you don't learn from it and you don't move from what has happened, it will keep repeating over and over.
Over and over.
If mama didn't get life insurance, you're gonna turn around and do the same thing, or you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna get better.
Mm-hmm. And this guy behind me, where is he at? Einstein, that's him, right? Yep. So you cannot fix the same problem with the same mind in which it was created. Um, so it's I sent a video out today, and he talks about financial blueprint, and I mentioned that in our meeting this
Mm-hmm.
morning.
Yep.
And the blueprint that you
From the
have in
book
your
of the month,
mind,
right?
what happened?
From the book of the month, right?
From the book of the month, correct. The blueprint we have in our mind, whether it's financially or relationship or whatever it is, there's a blueprint on there in your subconscious mind. And that's why you are reacting the way you're reacting today. So if you have
Mm-hmm.
a hard life, and the example I took earlier is, if financially you cannot keep any money if your mom was your role model, your dad was your role model, and they always struggle financially, well, this is what's been downloaded in your subconscious mind. And here you are, 25, 30, 35 years old, you still have the same behaviors. You don't know why, you know.
Mm.
And I and the video I told you, like, it's like, it's okay, there's nothing wrong with you. You just need to recognize that and do some paradigm shifting.
Yeah.
It's all mental. The
Right.
moment
That's
you
it.
think different, the outcome will be different,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So that's just to go back to our community. You said they have to suffer. Unfortunately, it's true. And doing that sufferance, hopefully the person or somebody who's going to help them is not going to take advantage of them, or they're going to actually help them, you know. So we can actually, you know, like they say, ignorance is bliss. We can actually go out there and educate 20, 30 people in one day.
Right. Right.
Only
Right.
about 10 to 30% will take action.
Mm-hmm.
The rest is the paradigm that has not been able to be shifted.
Crazy,
And
bro.
unfortunately, they'll put down that, they will transfer that to the next generation. It's either you transferring wealth or you transferring poverty. And that mindset is a poverty mindset, unfortunately.
Bro, like this stuff is so deep. I won't even get that deep into it. But I
Very.
was about to, but I was about to go in, but I'm like,
You're like,
nah.
no.
It's about what we got 9 more minutes left. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just finish up this last paragraph here. Separately, ACLI data also shows that in 2021, annuity payments, which most typically go to retirees, hit an all-time high, with insurers paying out $97.7 billion to annuity holders.
Mm.
Bro, I don't
Mm.
even write annuities.
Not yet, actually. At least.
Right?
I know
I don't
you're
write
really
them
focused on
yet.
the IUL. Not yet. Annuities, if you don't know what annuities are, it is an insurance policy. Um, However, the way it works, you can choose to open an annuity with monthly payment, or at a lump sum, or you can actually have a 401k and do what's called a rollover to an annuity account. Now, when you do the rollover, it could be a fixed annuity or variable annuity. A fixed annuity, your money is protected. A variable annuity, it actually go up and down. But that's a whole nother session. It comes with a death benefit. So what you're looking at, that 90 something billion that was paid out, is death benefits from annuities. And fun fact, bro, social security income is a type of annuity. Most people don't know that.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty much when you are putting money every month into social security straight from your paycheck, yeah, it goes to your, yeah, social security, so you can receive income when you retire. But literally, that money is an annuity that is actually structured to pay you for the rest of your life. The only thing is they cheat you out of it because you're getting paid way less than what you're supposed to have.
Yeah.
But it is a form of annuity. Social security income is a form of annuity. Another annuity, another form of annuity we had, or that was very popular back then, was pension plans. That was another annuity. So an annuity is an account that guarantee you income for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's not tax free though. You gotta pay
Right,
taxes.
right.
So
You gotta
yeah,
pay them taxes on that
hmm,
thing.
gotta pay taxes.
No, but you so life you gotta work, but you gotta make sure that you save enough money to live when you can't work anymore.
Literally, it's like the whole game. At least right here in the U.S., it's like, okay, how do I set up myself to live? Like literally, that's a question. Because right now, a lot of people just working. They're not really living life. You know, they're not really enjoying life. They're just working.
Man, shoot, people out here living, bro. I'll be
So
wondering where they get the money from, man.
exactly. You ever seen somebody like playing golf every Saturday, and they just go to
Bro,
a couple meetings per week, and then they just
man,
come back and enjoy life? These
I
people
don't know,
prepare.
bro.
They
Instagram or social media must be lying because people be traveling the world, people be eating good, bro. Ain't nobody broke out here, bro. I
Yo,
swear, bro, like the
yo,
numbers ain't adding up. Ain't nobody broke.
Yo, time out. Have you,
What?
as you,
Seriously?
I know. As you're saying this, right? I didn't know stuff like that exists. I'm working at the mall with my wife, and there's this random looking place to the right of us,
Mm-hmm.
and it just have random spot, like it's just weird. And I'm like, what is this? I never seen this before. I know this was here. And my wife was like, oh, okay, this is actually like you can actually go take pictures as if you were traveling, going somewhere else. Uh, they actually have a little booth where it looks like an airplane window, and you are sitting next to the window, and it looked like you're in an airplane. Or you go somewhere like in a little booth, it looked like you're in a whole different country,
Mm.
and people actually pay to go take pictures there and sell that whole idea that they doing fine in life type of stuff, or they traveling the world, but they were actually at Florida Mall. It's
What is
crazy.
that?
Like I didn't
Is it
know stuff like
selfie?
that exists.
Is it selfie world or no?
I don't remember. I don't remember. Probably
Mm,
is, but it is that
yeah,
spot. They have different section
yeah,
where
selfie world. Yeah,
selfie
yeah,
world, bro. I don't know, bro.
yeah. That's it,
It's
bro.
crazy.
People, man, it's so crazy because mindset is more so let me look like I'm doing good instead of actually doing good.
Yeah.
I be like, bro, if you transfer the same thought pattern and process and energy into actually doing it, it's actually easier when you do it than to
Yeah.
keep lying and faking. It's just
Yeah.
like, bro, I don't want to sit here and act like I'm a millionaire. Like a lot of people have when it comes to finance in our community, why
Hmm.
are you in my business? I don't need you in my business type stuff. It's like I don't need you inside of my finances or my business. That's too personal. But it's like, bro, I'm looking at the scoreboard. When it come to group economics and group, we losing.
Big
We
time.
all losing. So if one person make it, that's not you talking about a one time a one hit wonder type thing.
Hmm.
We talking about 1 out of 10. If 1 out of 10 is making it to be a multimillionaire fast and early, like that's 1 out of 10. We're the nine of everybody else just down here trying to figure this out.
Exactly.
And most people want that fast, that instant gratification, that fast money. I need to live right now because I don't know if I'm going to see. Yeah, we don't. But you shouldn't be living. When you do live like that, your life go by super fast. You drinking every day, you partying, you clubbing every weekend,
Pretty much,
you
man.
having fun, you living a fast life, and it catches up with you, man. It's
It
just
does,
like
bro. It does. It's
it's
I don't
sad.
know. It's pretty sad. And as you're saying that, I remember we all know I used to rap. If you didn't know I used to rap, you just get the message. So when I was younger, I used to go to clubs, and I remember going to this club a couple times, and there was this guy just he at least had to be 50, and he was just there, and that's just his life. He just never grew out of it.
Yeah,
I
man.
know
It's crazy,
people,
bro.
crazy. I know people that still never grow out of that life,
Never,
and
bro.
they closer to 40. And it's
Whoa.
crazy. And I know like I said something to myself the other day. I said, if your sound system, if you're in your 30s and your sound system in your car is more expensive than your car, something's wrong. Something's wrong. It's like at one point
How you
we
get
have to
stuck,
grow
bro?
out of it. What happened?
People get stuck, bro. Like it's for real. Like, and that's why when I was talking about the Deion Sanders situation,
Hmm.
where I had to look at myself and be like, okay, before I jump out there, because he just elevated. He went to the next level. Like people don't know all of the BS he had to go through at the school as well. Like, yeah, he was making it better. He was putting it in a better situation. But for him, he came after. I remember he came on a post interview mad as hell. Like, like yeah, we got the win, but somebody stole all of my stuff in my office, my all credit cards, everything in the office was stolen. So it's like having to deal with that, truck getting broken into, players probably getting robbed, different things that are such. Like, you really go through that. Like, HBCUs are black colleges, but almost if not all HBCUs are located in the hood, bro.
Hmm.
Like, there be like shootings, deaths, and all of that because it's actually the hood is just education. So it's still that mindset. People still stuck in those mindsets. So when they see somebody come in and actually try to help and help better the situation, and then they leave, those people have that sense of entitlement and they feel like, oh, they should have stayed, and this person is wrong for what they did, but all that person was doing was growing, and you are stuck in your mindset. You're still stuck in the same mindset. But
Exactly.
I honestly think that it shouldn't take somebody to have to come in there for you to want to act right. You should want to act right every day or get better every single day instead of somebody like him coming in and at his high calibers, because he's going to bring the media, so you want to be on your best behavior now. That is there. All that will do would eventually you will fail and fall in the long run because you can't keep up faking so long for only
That's
so
true.
long.
Your
So
true
it's like
self gonna
keeping up with the
surface up.
Joneses.
Yep.
Yeah, keeping up with the Joneses, and then by that time, they leave. Then when that person leaves, so like Deion Sanders leaves, and if that school goes backwards, we know that they were faking instead of
Mm-hmm.
elevating and stepping up to the plate. He left you the blueprint. He came here. He showed you what to do, what is needed. So now go out there, hire whoever he recommends, whatever is going on. Hire that person to follow that blueprint and take it to the next level. We could do it collectively, but we always look for the one single savior, that one person to come and
It's true.
save, just like we still wait on Jesus to come instead of saving ourselves and being the ones or living our own Jesus life, pretty much. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you live that life out, live it out yourself then.
Exactly.
But we look for that one man to come and save every time, bro. And then when it happens. Then when they leave, it's just an outcry for help and anger and all of that. So it's a lot, but that's how our people are, bro.
That's
It's,
true.
just- it's
Most of
crazy.
us never hold a mirror in front of our face to say we have to make that change. We have to make that change. Like I myself have to make that change. There is no such thing as a savior. You mentioned Jesus. Jesus come as an example. So you should actually follow these examples and live as close to that as possible. But it's not waiting for somebody to come save you. And it's the whole, even with politics, people actually out there believing a president would actually make a change.
Absolutely, and
It's
they still do
crazy.
in 2022.
2022, you think a
Same,
president will
yeah,
come out and make things better for you?
for you and your life. You the president of your house.
Exactly. You
So why
don't
you
master
not
of your
making the
economy.
changes? Why you hoping on somebody else to make the change? Why you can't make the change?
Exactly. You should master your own economy.
It's the accountability. People don't want the responsibility and they don't want to be held accountable for what they do.
That's true. That is very
That
true.
responsibility scares people, bro. Like, oh my God,
Yeah,
I'm literally in charge of my everything that goes wrong in my life. Like, that scares the living crap out of people.
that's true. That is true. Like I have conversation with people. It's like I got married young. I have 2 kids. I'm in my 30s. It's like to some people it's scary. To me, is really getting your priorities straight.
That's it.
You get your priorities straight. Like
Mhm.
before I got married, I already knew when it comes to finance, that's the leading cause of divorce. So before I got married, I make sure I understand, how to actually play on that part. Because
Yeah.
I don't want to, I really don't want to end up in a statistic. I tell my wife all the time, but I'm not dumb enough to know that life's gonna be perfect. Things happen in
Right.
life,
Right.
you know.
Absolutely.
So it's just taking responsibilities and understanding your priorities. The
Hmm.
moment you're getting to the next level, and that's what we don't understand as a people, bro. The moment somebody's getting to the next level, and like you said earlier, you decide not to change and stay the same. That's why people gonna be like, "Oh man, Julian changed so much, man. I don't like this new Julian." Why? Because he decided to better himself, and you cannot keep up.
Right.
You know,
because now
James
they got to
is
look at themselves and be like, why I didn't, and I knew him at one point.
exactly, exactly. So we just need something to talk about and someone to talk about to make ourselves feel better. We go to the next person who's gonna hear us complain. They can't wait for you to stop speaking so they can complain to you. Oh, that's your story. Whoo! Wait till I tell you my story. The moment you get those two people, and then you find that person, you get comfortable talking about your problem, complaining, and finding somebody to blame except for you. Everybody is at fault except for yourself. It's like, yo, this is elementary. Like, bro, like, yo, really, wake up. This is elementary. So
Mhm.
it's always good to keep. I mean, the higher up you get, the more serious you get about life, the smaller your circle becomes.
Oh yeah.
And that's just fact. But people don't want to take
Oh yeah.
responsibilities, like you said, bro.
Yep. But that's what we got to do together, individually, together, collectively, everything. We got to
Hmm.
take the responsibility of ourselves, our actions, and that's what's helped me grow where I'm at today. And to continue to grow is just self awareness, being taking accountability for my shortcomings and why this didn't happen. I'm not ever blaming the next person, and nobody should, honestly. Like,
Exactly.
you can control everything with your life. You can control your thoughts. You can control your actions. Well, you should be able to. If you can't, then you need to seek the proper help for sure. If you're not able to control your thoughts and your actions of that such. So
You hit it right in the nail, man. Seek for
yeah,
help. And a
absolutely.
lot of us, we don't need that help.
We don't
A
know
lot of
how
us
to ask. A lot of people don't know how to
don't
ask
know
for
how
help.
to ask. Yep.
Scary, but people don't know how to ask. Like, grown folks don't know how to ask for help
Hmm.
because they've always had to depend on themselves, or anybody they ask for help has always let them down.
That's
So
true.
you got people out here traumatized to ask for help. And it's just like, bro, you're not fooling me. You could ask for help. I know you're struggling, but that's just how we are taught. Even I used to do that, bro. Like, had that issue asking for help, but it's like, you gotta ask for help sometimes,
You
man. There's
got
nothing
to.
wrong with that.
You got to put your ego down and ask for help. Like, literally, man. It's like, I mean, this is something we have. I mean, I've always been humble for a long time. I don't care who it is. If I see, like, let's just say I see, hey, Julian, I see you doing this, man. You doing that. Hey, tell me, man, how do you get this? I need help. I need help understanding. And what you're gonna find out is Julian will be more than happy to explain to you the process. But if my ego is so high, it's like, no, I don't. Nah, man, this is just foolishness, pure
Yeah.
foolishness. So,
Yep.
yeah,
Yes,
bro.
sir. And that's just like where we at with things. And as a community, just individually, we need to work on these simple things. But once we do that, man, I think we take the next step in the right direction. But
Yeah.
until then, we're gonna still continue to suffer. But we're gonna continue to do our job over here,
Yes,
educate
sir.
and ensure as many people as we can, and help them out financially, because we are living in America and everything is built off of economics and money. So we're gonna keep educating and putting this information out there. But if you did like this episode, please like, comment, share, subscribe, let your family know. And if somebody doesn't have insurance, tell them to reach out to us. The website is below, www.theagentandbroker.com. You can fill out an inquiry form. Um, Anything else we have, follow us, IG, all of those platforms like Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can listen to us. We about to ramp up some things, y'all. So going into 2023,
Yes,
we're gonna be
sir.
a lot more consistent online. Podcast is gonna start going up from here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's all about taking it to the next level.
Yep.
So I'm very, very excited for this podcast. The meeting we had a couple of days ago, Julian, with the young lady. So it's pretty promising. It's pretty promising, and
Oh yeah.
especially when you break it down to me, said, man, we actually in the top 1% when it comes to podcasts.
Right.
I'm like, hold on, what are you talking about? you know. And when you break on the
It's
numbers, I'm
crazy,
like,
bro.
Oh, really? That's crazy. So if that's the case, then let's go.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy, but it's people don't really last in this business because they can't come up with the content. But it's so many
oh
things
my,
to cover,
yeah.
bro. Like it's so many things to cover, and we're gonna keep covering,
Oh no,
relevant topics, but also topics you probably never heard of, especially
exactly,
in this industry alone. So
exactly,
thank you
man.
all.
So yeah,
Thank you
thank
for the
you for all the
support.
downloads, all the fans. Like Julian say, like, comment, share. Also, if you want us to talk about something specific, put it in the comment. Reach out to us,
Yeah.
and then we'll go ahead and talk about that. But
Hmm.
I enjoy doing this. I enjoy having the conversation. I enjoy this show, and we ain't stopping. We are not stopping. We're just gonna keep going, creating content because
Absolutely.
we know if we can change one life with one episode, that make all the difference to us.
Yeah. Absolutely. For sure. And
So,
if you if you disagree with anything we say or push,
oh
you
yeah,
believe, definitely feel free to reach out and come on the podcast and we talk it out.
I would love it. We would
We
love
talk
it
it out.
because we love people with different mindset, with different views, because that's what makes society interesting. Can you imagine everybody think like you, act like you, they agree just like in everything you agree? That'll be a very boring place to live. But
Man.
Julian and I, we wise enough to understand that people with different opinion is actually what's going to educate us on something we don't see or we don't have a different perspective on. So
Right.
definitely, you have a different opinion, come out. This guy, like I said, I told you, Julian, this guy, he saw this episode what we did on IUL. He's with Primerica. He come here, make a couple comments. I answer back. He answer back. I answer back. He answer back. And I say, hey man, I think it will be great for you to come be part of one of the episodes so we can educate the community together and we can share your views. We can share my views. He never answered back after that. Mm, really,
Of course not.
it kind of remind me. I don't know if you see this video. There was this gate, and there was two dogs, one one on the inside, one of the outside, and
Oh
the gate
yeah.
was the bar
It was in
gates.
between, they was barking.
They was barking, "Rah, rah, rah," like they was barking, like they was about to kill one another. And somebody opened the gate, and they stopped barking,
Go
and
on
the
about your
gate closed
day.
again, and then they start barking. So it's like, yo, you barking, and I don't want to be that dog to bark. I'm inviting you to open the gate and let's have a conversation, but you're gonna back out. So which means you good, your mouth is good, your fingers good to type, but you cannot really have a well versed education, kind of like some of those. I don't want to say any political parties, but some people cannot have a regular conversation without being too emotional. But I'm not gonna get deep into that, bro. But you kind of remind me of that.
Yeah, man. It's it's a complicated, I guess, subject, man. People just they don't ever want to they don't want their cover to be blown, I feel like, so they just stay off of that.
Yeah,
There is nobody making content out there that's hard down pushing just term life insurance, bro. I don't see it. I only see people push whole life. Some people push buy term invest the difference, but they're not. If they're
it's
pushing that, they're probably pushing such of invest in index funds or anything. But nobody is just
yeah,
making straight insurance content and only selling
selling
insurance,
term.
term insurance. I don't
That's
see
true.
it
I don't see it either. I
because that's
don't.
one option. People are educated now that there's more to term insurance. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, if y'all like it, please share. Let your people know. We appreciate you all for tuning back in today in another episode of the Agent and Broker Agent and Broker podcast.
Podcast.
I am your, I am Julian the Agent, license W626089.
And I'm James the broker, license number W282336. If I'm gonna let you go with anything today, is with this guy. Always work hard. Kobe is one of the hardest worker ever. That's why
Yeah,
my whole wall is full with like Muhammad Ali, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. I have Basquiat. I have so many people in my wall. Why?
mhm,
Because it's all about mindset. So change your mindset, change your life. That's what I'll let you go
absolutely.
with today.
Yes, sir. Holla at y'all. Have a good one.
Deuces.
The agent and the broker put you on the right path. And if it ain't adding up, then do the right math. And when you wanna come up, some might laugh. But them be the types to be the overnight staff. Always be a worker, we tryna be some owners. Sometimes might strike out, sometimes we hitting homers. But one thing's for sure, when the money gets uncovered, hit the agent and the broker. Say thank you to my brothers.